is going on, Headhunters, executive recruiter, staffing professionals, and all you beautiful people? This is David Stephen Patterson. You know me as DSP, my beautiful, manly, full of driven with testosterone co-host Neil Lebovitz, and this is the Headhunters and Boxers
Greetings,
talk
salutations, and good wishes to everyone.
and wishes. And by the way, doesn't that sound good? See that crack of that?
Is that an energy drink? Is that an energy drink or a protein drink? A protein powder?
This is a Monster energy drink, so this is very bad for me. But I do one a day. This is my one that I get per day.
It's weird. I prefer the delicious. Oh, it disappeared. I prefer the delicious taste of Red Bull.
I used to be a Red Bull guy until I started drinking Monster energy drink.
Well, how's this? I just ordered. Amazon has come out with their own energy drink. I can get a case of the giant ones for $12 versus $35 on Red Bull. Guess what's coming tomorrow? Prime delivery. Amazon now. I don't.
You do love the giant ones. That's what I hear. But anyway, with that being said, Neil, I get asked
Amazon now. You ever see that comedian? He's that Chinese comedian.
Yeah, the Chinese one. Yeah, I just saw him last week.
He's hysterical. He's like, America with your deliveries. Amazon. First it was 3-day free shipping. Then it was 3 days. Now it's Amazon same-day delivery. He goes, and that's not even good enough. Soon they're coming out with, you just think it's going to be your doorstep. Amazon now. He's like, Amazon now.
I want it delivered right into my hand. Right here.
Right. I want to think it, and I want it to be in my, like, same-day delivery. If you don't get it, you're pissed off. Amazon now. Forget about Prime. Forget about Amazon one day. Amazon now.
Amazon now. That is a great show. What's going on? What's new in your world, Neil?
The deal in my world is I've been cooped up with my girlfriend for 5 weeks, and let's just say we don't need a break yet. So I'm waiting for the iron to drop. What the expression is. I've been working real hard. I got to say and not to talk business, not to plug back office staffing solutions for your staffing needs, but everyone's business is exploding. Like there's crazy pent up demand, which is awesome. What's going on with me? This wasn't meant to be about business. Don't listen to this plug. I agree. I'm enjoying the spring weather. I'm thrilled that it's Memorial Day already. I love that friggin' everyone, there's lots of non-masking going on. I'm just real happy. I'm buying flowers this weekend. Gonna plant in my box. I got my hanging flowers up. How about you, David? You don't seem like the flower kind of guy.
Actually, no. I do enjoy flowers, but no. Elisa, my better half, she's a big plant person. So we have plant like my place, like a tropical paradise. Obviously not.
I saw that in there. It is, brother. I saw that near your pool or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's crazy the way it's all set up. But that said, I mean, I will say this, about your girlfriend. This isn't the girlfriend in Canada that you keep talking about, right? You're girlfriend that never.
Just listening to the show. No, that's the other one. Stop it.
Okay. I just want to make sure. But no, it's fine. Actually, my world. We actually have a guest on today named Mitch Robbins. He is a partner. He's actually an ex-client of mine and also a current partner of mine. And so, what's going on in my world? Well, we actually just launched the Career Hunters, which is a career coaching program. But we can talk about that later. But that's what's going on in my world. I've got a bunch of training that's being released. I've made some new hires. It is busy, and the market is heating up. Loving the market right now. Loving the market. Not loving the inflation. Not loving how much it costs for lumber. But that said, loving the beginning of summer.
Yeah, but see, lumber is in your world. Like the price of lumber doesn't affect me, but you definitely strike me as a guy who's like, hey, we need a shed in the new house. You're going to go to the lumber yard, aren't you? You do. You go to the lumber yard. You're going to start, right? You do.
This summer, I'm building a deck.
Of course you are. I pay deck guys. That's how the Jews in New York do it. We pay deck guys. We pay shed guys. We go on to Facebook and we feel like we're manly by organizing the handyman. You know what I mean? But I'm really pathetic. I'm very good for a Jewish guy. Like I'm pretty handy for a Jew.
You're pretty for. I'll tell you what. I don't know. Is that racist?
Not if you say it yourself. It's like saying the N-word. If you're black, it's totally acceptable, and it is, and it should be. But not if someone else says it. So I can self-deprecate the Jewish people. But if I wasn't, this would go viral. The 6 people we have on the show right now, one of them would go nuts and send it into, like CNN or Fox, and we'd go viral.
All right, so just to make sure I get this right. You're Jews. You can be self-deprecating when it comes to being a Jew. I'm a Gentile, so I can talk shit about Gentiles.
That's right.
Okay, got it.
Right. If I call you a shiksa, meaning or like that's for like a white girl. If I call them a shiksa, that's derogatory because I'm making fun of a Gentile and something that they're not.
Well, now I'll have you know, Mitch Robbins, who is a guest on the show, he is also one of the chosen people, and also I will say this: my daughter is one of the chosen people. So Elisa, she's Jewish from her mother's side, and apparently it passed through the mother's line. So I come to find out that my daughter technically can be considered a Jew because it goes through the female line, from my understanding.
True, but Elisa is technically Catholic or Christian. She's technically Aryan by injection, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh man, already going downhill. Anyway, speaking of Gentiles and Jews, all right, let's move on from that topic because that'll get us canceled very, very quickly. Well, let's bring on our guest, Mitch Robbins. Mitch Robbins, as I mentioned before, he was a client of mine from a ways back. We developed a friendship. We decided to partner together with this whole Career Hunters thing, and I want to bring him on, and we can talk about that. So here we are. Here is Mitch. Come on in.
There he is.
What is
up, gentlemen?
What is up, Mitch?
How are you guys
I don't know
doing?
if you heard this or not, but we were talking about the chosen people.
I heard you, and thank you for speaking on my behalf. Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, Mitch, I would love to be a Jew with your name. Like Neil Lebovitz is so Jewy. Mitch Robbins is such a great name. The Mitch is a great name, and Robbins is like, was it like Rabinowitz? It was something like that, wasn't it?
That's funny that you would say that, Neil. Our name was changed. I was just talking to our family about that a couple months ago. I think it was either, I can't remember if it was Rabinowitz or Rabinovich.
Yep, exactly. But I wish they did it to me. I like to be Neil Lebo.
Neil Lebo. And here's Neil Lebo.
Right, that works a lot better. But anyway, enough about that. We know you have a tight deadline. You're out of here in 20 minutes. You got great stuff that'll benefit recruiters that they want to listen to and what's going on in the world. I turned it over to David to fill us in here, and I'm going to shut up.
Well, is it that easy to get you to shut up?
Yeah, David, you had to figure that out for yourself. I could have told you in the beginning, but you wouldn't have believed me.
It's part of my personal journey, as a non-Jew Gentile, and I'm not one of the chosen. I want to be one of the chosen. How can I be chosen?
Well, you're chosen.
You got about 17 minutes and counting here.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually. All right, so basically, here's what's going on with the Career Hunter. So this is so Mitch and I have become friends over the last few years. He was a client in my accelerator program, and then eventually we talked a lot, and we saw eye to eye in a lot of things, and so we started talking about career coaching. We know some firms have these career coaching programs, but it really was born out of the conversation we had, which was in essence, well, okay, what would we do? Like if I got fired from my own company, right? If I lost everything, right? What would I do to get a job? And I would use my headhunting skills. My skills actually doing biz dev, how to book meetings, how to book sales calls, how to then baby step that to an actual, let's say, interview, then an offer, et cetera. And a lot of career coaching programs that we see folks a lot on, interview prep or how to do your resume, all that kind of jazz, which is all great. At the end of the day, it all comes down to, can you outbound message? Can you book meetings? Can you generate interest? And that's what's not being taught. So we decided, well, let's do something like Accelerator, but for executives, that maybe we can't help. So that's where it was kind of born, and we've been working on it for the last year, and we just launched.
Yeah, and I would say even a step further back, or to complement what you just said, is when COVID happened, Dave and I were having a conversation, and I said these poor people that when everything was shutting down and people were losing their jobs left and right, I said these poor people are literally sitting at home. They're getting their cup of coffee in the morning. They're sitting down at their computer and they're banging out as many applications as they can, crossing their fingers that somebody's going to respond to them. And that's where this whole thing came from. It's like, why don't we teach people how to be their own headhunter? what if we were to lose our jobs, what would we do? Exactly what David was saying. And so that's where I'm so excited that we built out this program that literally is an end-to-end strategy that we hold your hand. I mean, it's an online course, but David and I are there to literally hold these folks' hands as to how do you build out your proposition? How do you identify, prospective hiring managers' pain points? How do you position yourself as a solution provider? Book the meeting. Once you get the meeting, how do you turn that into an interview? How do you prep for the interview? All the way through, how do you onboard yourself into your new company? So it's
Now,
pretty
how
exciting
does this
stuff.
help the recruiters listening to the show? How do they get to, and I'm not being funny, nor am I asking for a plug, but besides this great business that you guys have, that sounds like it's your business, you go directly to candidates. Are recruiters able to latch onto this? Is this
Actually, I'll take this one if you don't mind. Yes. So this is where you can basically bolt on a career coaching program to your practice. So basically, here's the deal, right? So right now, Mitch is busy.
and
Guy.
I swear, I don't know this. This isn't a planned plug. I'm really curious.
So Mitch runs his search firm. He's busy with that. Me, I run the marketing company, the consulting company. I'm busy with that. So, we're not going to go out. We don't have the time to go out and massively market the career hunters because we're busy with our own practices. But what we're doing is we plan to using our recruiter network really as an affiliate network, if you will, to sell the program. So in essence, what it comes down to is if you have, let's say you talk to candidates, throughout the day, because I've done it. I've done this for 20 years. So I talked to thousands of candidates that can't help. Either they're not my niche, or I don't have a role for them, or if I NPC somebody, I have I can do one or two at a time. I mean, it's tough, and so you can give free advice only for so long. You'll have so much time of the day. So if you want to have a career coaching program that a lot of other firms have, but you don't want to put that together, because believe me, I'm here to tell you, I've put together several programs. It is a grind. You never know how hard it is until you actually do it. So Career Hunters, in essence, is a way for you to bolt that on. And we have a few different plans depending upon if you actually sell them on it and get them into the program yourself, then we provide the support, we deliver it, or if you just send them to us and then we sell it and get them into the program. But either way, it allows you another income stream that you would not have had otherwise.
Do they lose candidates this way? I mean, are we having is it better for a recruiter to have someone that's really good at these things? I mean, I would think on the one hand, someone might say, well, why would I do this? Yeah, it's a revenue stream, but now I'm making these candidates almost compete against me and doing what I do for them. On the other hand, I would think, yeah, that's one way to look at it. But the other way is you want these people really good at this, and you want them good at everything else, but of landing that job, and the interview techniques and the prep and everything involved in it that headhunters do would actually benefit these recruiters that have candidates, let's say, that have gone through the program. You know what I mean? Like there's a balance there, but I would think the latter is the real selling point, I think.
Well, we'll see. For me, look at my practice. So when I was recruiting heavily, it was all SAP. I might talk to, let's say, someone who is in the SAP space. I can't help. I would love to spend a few hours and teach you exactly how to do it. I don't have time. And so I give you a few pointers and send you on your way, right? It happens all the time. I just don't have it. So what are you going to do with that? Right. And so it's going to be for them, or people you can't help, or people, maybe you had a candidate that didn't quite make the cut on one of your jobs. And what are you going to do? All right. Maybe you call them when you have another job that might be a fit, or if you see them, if you have the bandwidth. So this is basically another income stream in essence. Right. So
wow.
If you can. Yes, and also, for those months where you may be not billing, for example, if you're consistently selling these packages and getting money in, that could be a benefit to you as well.
You know what? But so like I originally thought this show would be a plug thing and not a value. It's great. There are I think you hit on the most important thing. These 90%, 95, 98% of candidates that are always calling you, you get that revenue stream out of them. You also can set an expectation, and you're helping them, and they become that true consultant with them by helping them with resources such as this and make money on it. And that's always it's been a big problem in the group. I just saw posts on the group this week about this exact issue, not about having a service like yours, but about, why do these candidates think that we work for them? We work for the client. Like we can't take right. I mean, but this is that exactly nails. And it was a huge thread of everyone saying, yeah, this happens every day. And so this solves that problem for the recruiters, which I think is awesome.
In my opinion, it's a short. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, it came out. So when I first started with this, well, the first idea I had initially was to do like a consolation prize or like a value pack, basically. And I put this together a ways back to build goodwill. If I talked to somebody who I just couldn't help, and that's a lot of people, instead of giving them like a 20-minute, okay, here's what you need to do, I would send them like a pack. So it have like an interview prep guide. They have a few different gadgets to help them along the way. Because my thought was, if I just put good things into the world, like this karma's going to come back, or they'll remember me as, hey, he's the guy that helped me, and maybe when they're in a leadership role, they can use me, whatever, right? And now it's all well and good, but still, there's only so much information you can provide. So this kind of is the evolution of that in a lot of ways, right?
Yep, Mitch was going to say something. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I think the major value add for search firms and recruiters right now is a shortcut to offering a service like this without having to do the legwork of building out a whole program. Because David and I know firsthand just how many nuances there are to try and build something out. And so I'm excited for other search firms to be able to add this to their portfolio and still reap the benefits of an additional revenue stream without necessarily having to put together the program themselves.
Can they white label it?
No, it's not white labeled.
Gotcha.
No, but that said, we may look at that in the future, but not right now. Now, I will say this though. This is kind of cool. So Mitch and I are talking about this, and so Mitch, so Mitch runs a search firm, right? And of course, I came from that background as well. But then I started the digital headhunter, and I started putting training programs together, yada yada. And so we're talking about it. We're talking about how, well, let's put together a program together. And I don't think Mitch realized until we went through it how it is a grind. Like I didn't, when I first did it with the Headhunter, I had no idea how hard it would be. And if I knew how hard it would be, I may not have done it in the first place. But actually now that I've done it a few times. And so it took us a year to put all this together, but that's how strong the program is, because there's a lot to it. It's and I will say this, it's not traditional career coaching. I mean, it does have like interview prep and resume revamps, all the kind of jazz, but it is, in essence, it's basically a blueprint on how to aggressively go out there, reach out to decision makers, create messaging campaigns around your experience, create an offer from your experience, how to get that in front of leaders, how to book meetings, not interviews, but actual meetings, like discovery calls, and from there, how to sell the actual interview. And so when you can look at like your background as like an offer, that's provide a solution. It puts you in a different category than just say somebody applying for a job. And yeah, you can have all the interview prep in the world, all the resume ramps in the world, all that's great. At the end of the day, I think that all goes by the wayside if you can't aggressively go out there and book a lot of meetings with hiring leaders that may need you. If you can't do that, then it doesn't really matter how great your interview skills are. You're still at the mercy of HR, right? That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
Well, in essence, you're preaching exactly what you're basically saying what you preach to recruiters all the time is, how do you position yourself above the fray? How do you build a higher level offer, right? How do you get out of this red ocean of the commoditization of recruiting, where one recruiter says, I've got 20 years experience, we know passive candidates, our database is better than anybody else, when everybody else is saying the exact same thing. So you teach how to build a higher level offer for their practice, right? So in essence, we're mirroring that exactly for the candidates, and we'll walk them through in a step-by-step fashion. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, totally it's basically like accelerator. My accelerator program is like accelerator program for candidates in essence. And by the way, I do recognize this is basically come out to be one big plug. And Neil, I do this to you all the time. So in the spirit of fairness, I will do it to myself.
Well, listen, it's a plug, and I would give you a lot of grief, and I was prepared to for this show, honestly. Yeah. But I think it's awesome. I think it's a great value add for them. I think it's a great way to make money on all these people. It's a great way to provide a caring, empathetic solution to them. I like it. So it's, you're running it, you're doing it, but you're providing something really of value to people watching this. And are they getting and again, it sounds like one of those infomercials at night where they're all pre-print scripts. Like I really totally was coming into this. I was totally going to give both of you crap and have a fun show and you do your plug. And and I don't know the answer to this, but so they're like an affiliate. What kind of commission do they get on, and what does that look like anyway? Like, what are you charging these end users, or whatever you want to share? We didn't prep on this beforehand.
Yeah, so what we're going to charge the end users, we'll discuss with the affiliate directly, but basically the affiliate fee being from like 100 to 1,000, depending upon the level. So in essence, the way we look at it is if
100 to 1,000 per person.
Per person, yeah.
That's what the recruiter will make, or that's what you're charging?
No, what the recruiter will make, not
wow.
what we're charging.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's like going to go up because once we launch, we have, and then we start getting case studies and get traction. Then those prices will increase. Just like with my accelerator program, I started off, not charging like a super huge amount, but then as you get more traction, you start charging more and more and more. And now I'm pretty far from cheap. And the same way here. So I could see that, potentially doubling over the course of the year. But in essence, the way it typically works is that, with an affiliate, we'll set you up with scripts and all that jazz, right? Like a starter pack and PDFs and how to sell it. And if you sell it and then get them into the program, we deliver it and we provide all the support, et cetera. Then that's kind of the maximum, 1,000 rate that you get for actually getting somebody in the program. If you just refer somebody over and we do all the selling work, and we do all that, then it's 100. So that's kind of the way that breaks out. So you could just send people over, and if they close, you make it.
And what if they act now? They get 2 for the price of 1, and they only have to pay shipping and handling.
And where's the timer in the bottom right?
Right.
4
I
minutes,
love
50
that. The same
seconds.
commercial comes on over and over and over again, and they're like, now if you call within the next 30 seconds, I just saw that. The one that was funny one to me, I always remember this, when Obama was first inaugurated. They had those Obama commemorative plates. They were plates that friggin' someone used to put their burrito on, and they had Obama on, and they're like, these are limited casts. They're in limited number, so you must act now because I'm like, friggin', they're creating scarcity on Obama plate. Like, it's funny stuff. Like, I love that. And do people actually believe that stuff? Like, oh my God, I better call now because operators are standing by only.
They probably do, considering how much is used. The tactic is used, right? Scarcity.
I mean, look, I'll be candid with you. Even in our world, right? So let's say you talk to let's say you talk to a prospect, right? Now, from usually most cases, you're the puppy dog, right? You want to get the job order, you want to get the client, you do whatever you can to sell them, they're making the decision, right? They are in the capper seat, whatever you want to call it. Well, ideally, from a position standpoint, you as the recruiter, you want to be the chooser. You want to be the one who is not available. So it's always important, even in our conversations. Well, we're gonna have to see if we can fit you into our current workload. We're gonna see if we'll have to do a staff allocation meeting to see if we can fit you in. It's just a positioning thing, right? So even we do it with our prospects, right? We don't want to let them know that we're ready for them no matter when they call. We want to make sure they're working with the best clients. And how do you do that to position yourself more strongly? You let them know that you're not really that available, and maybe you'll have the ability to fit them into your workload, right? That's how you can get higher fees. You're in a better position, but a negotiating position. So yeah, man, that urgency scarcity stuff works, but it's not anything unethical, really. It's just a positioning tactic, and that you should all actually do.
Got it. Wonderful. All right, cool. Yeah. I'm in. If I were recruited.
So, David, do you want to talk? Considering we're doing our selfless plugs here, do you want to talk about how the recruiters can learn more about it?
Oh, right. Thank you, Mitch. Right on cue. So if you want to become an affiliate, all you have to do is go to this website you see down below here, right down there. It's the careerhunters.io, not .com, but .io /become-and-affiliate. So
come on, you can't create a tiny URL or a digitalheadhunter.com / candidate or something. That's ridiculous.
I know it is dick and ridic. So my apologies. But anyway, yeah, go there and fill out so there's that little application. You tell us what your industry is, what issue you are, etc. So fill it out, and then we'll reach out to you. We'll set up a meeting, and then in essence, we're going live on everything like later next week. So about a week from now is when everything's going to actually pop off and go live. So if you're interested, go check that out. All right. And that said, Mitch, I think you're pretty much done. You want to stay in for the news, or do you have to run?
I have to run, but I appreciate you having me on. We're looking forward to talking with search firm owners and recruiters who are interested in learning more, and appreciate you guys having me on today.
Do we reach you on Mitch Robbins on LinkedIn or Mitch Rabinovich?
Mitch Robbins with 2 B's.
2 B's, attaboy.
All right, guys.
Good seeing you again, Mitch.
You too. Take care. Thank you.
Yes.
See you guys.
All right. See some news.
May 28th, 2021. Temporary and permanent revenues skyrocketing. Hey, David, again, good news week. And all these things are really good to share with your clients. So this is a great one. The U.S. leading economic index surpasses its previous peak reached in January of 2020. Conference Board, right? January 2020 now, right? April, and they're delayed a month. Largest monthly gain to start the second quarter. Now recovered fully from COVID-19 contraction, right? Surpassed its previous peak. That's amazing, huh?
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. That said, now I do find it funny that you always bring up news items specific to temporary staffing.
This has nothing to do with temp. I got 2 attempts. This is the leading economic index, which looks at all of the major factors, nothing to do with staffing or employment, because we're still not there yet, right? So if you look at employment and production, they haven't recovered to pre-pandemic levels yet, right? But this shows the economy's upward trends should continue to grow and should accelerate, right? So they look at it combines GDP, it combines all sorts of. You'd have to Google like what they have. It's a famous indicator, but nothing to do with temp. So how dare you say that I'm plugging temp?
How dare you besmirch your sterling reputation?
Well, if you want to talk temp, the global industry on temp is scheduled to grow this year 12%, right? And that's and get this number though. Yeah, I plug temp because that's my world. And that's where big money is. And that's where so many perm recruiters don't focus on it. And again, yeah, you could use my company or any of my competitors, back office staffing solutions. But the industry, David, $445 billion. All right. And it declined 11% in 2020, much less than the perm business did. And it's, looking at 2022, maybe growing by 8%. These are great industry numbers, and I think super important. And they also, the temp market and the health there reflects perm, and perm's going to fall off first on a cliff during recessions and slowdowns. Perm also typically follows the growth of temp, and at a factor that could be significant. But it's new, it's cool, and what's great is this last forecast. This was by staffing industry analysts. Was in November, and this forecast is up, and it's much more bullish. So, it's a plug there for temp, but I think it's super important. And on a pulse report that is done at staffing agencies, staffing revenues look like April. Most firms are reporting in the U.S. a 21% increase. So those of you who have done temp and you're saying, well, it's flat or it's down or it's slow, it's COVID. That's nonsense. It's nonsense. Now, healthcare outperformed everyone, but now that's been the case. So there's modest year-over-year gains in healthcare, right? Travel nurses, though, have boomed, and it's crazy. Industrial staffing, if you place perm people, you got to do temps there. It's nuts, right? It grew 26% on the temp side. And if you're not seeing your perm business, your search business is nuts. Clerical, office, legal, accounting, all grew by like 18% in the pulse year over year. So it's really big, and that's why people are also seeing ghosting on temp and perm side, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, David?
Well, no, the economy is definitely strong for sure. And by the way, no worries about the plug there, but yes, everybody go to back office staffing solutions. They are the best. And I really do mean that. But as far as the economy is concerned, it is strong, right? It is heating back up. Even my own search firm, the Kinetic Group. We're seeing increased business. But I will say this, is that I do think that we're going to have a pretty big downturn here in the next couple of years because of all the debt spending and
I agree, and the inflated stock market, right? That's what's going to drive all the other stuff, and then all the absolutely.
You're looking at the big bubble. So the way I look at it is that I really saw the bubble bursting right around last year. The pandemic happened and the lockdown happened. I think they kind of screwed things up, and then we started injecting money into the system. And so what happens now is that we have so much money being injected in the system. Only companies want to take advantage of that, which is why they're seeing an increased hiring, why they're spending money as well. I do think though, the dollar is I wouldn't say collapsing, but it's not very strong, and it's starting to decrease. Because you look at Bitcoin, for example. Bitcoin, now not to say that you should or should not buy Bitcoin, but a lot of people look at the rise in Bitcoin as like it's increasing in value. I look at it as the dollar's decreasing in value when people are putting money into Bitcoin because of that as a hedge. It's kind of like almost like gold in a way at this point.
What you look at is important because of your great studies of economics, and your thesis that you wrote gives you authority. Isn't that great? We can have a show and talk about anything. We get immediate authority.
Yeah, but actually, I do know what I'm talking about there. Isn't that weird?
I tell you, it sounded good. You know?
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. But I really do think that here's where I look at it is that people tend to kind of be sheep in a sense that they see the economy is growing, they think great, and they never think about an eventual downturn. Or if there's a downturn, then they never think about the eventual upturn. And I think that people need to start preparing, and people need to kind of prepare for prepare for the hope for the best, prepare for the worst, as they say. And I think though that as you go out there and hire yourself and increase business and whatnot, I think it's very, very important. But also start preparing for when jobs may not be as readily available, when there isn't as much business out there, and start protecting your money, start putting assets in place in your business.
But you know what? Who knows? That's always the case, and people need to. The people that I see on here saying, the COVID stuff is over. Is it the best market it's ever been? Some say it is. It's as good as you can ever hope a market to be. How's that? Well, let's say it's as good, not hoping, dreaming, but it's as good. You should feel really good about where things are. And in fact, there's so many posts, David, in the groups, in the different groups, about ghosting. We're having it. I had one client on the temp side. He landed this really big, multi-million-dollar big account, and he placed 5 temps. And all 5 of them ended up leaving or ghosting or whatever. And I see this all the time in the groups. People talking about people no showing for interviews on the perm side and search side, no showing on temp assignments, walking off a job. And in one of those polls that we looked there, like 65% of respondents said that's happening. What do you do to avoid it? Or like, what are the tips for people to make that not happen as much?
I will say this, and this is a little comment, and this is a pet peeve of mine, then I'll answer your question. When I see people say, we can't hire, we can't find people because people are being paid not to work, and then you always see the
oh yeah, that's a whole other big thread.
Yeah, but I will say, but if you aren't paying poverty wages, and it's such a stupid argument, because all right, let's say, because I have a buddy of mine who runs a woodworking and mail order company. He has a warehouse. He pays about $20 an hour, pretty decent, especially here in Florida, $20 an hour. And he still has trouble finding people to work. Why? Because let's say you're getting 15, 16 an hour while the combined benefits. Do you want to work 40 hours a week and earn an extra $4 an hour? Or are you willing to take the cut of 4 and get all the free time in the world? So it's not a one-for-one comparison. People say, "Oh, paying poverty wages." No, you're competing against that plus all the freedom and spare time. That's the issue. So I think people they don't think about it, or they just like they do like, well, obviously they'd work for you if you paid $1 more than what they're making now. No, it doesn't work like that. It's simplistic thinking, in my opinion. But anyway, that's my pet peeve. I had to get that out there because it's been burning on me. But anyway, with regard to what we're talking about again,
we're talking about ghosting.
Oh, the ghosting. That's right. Yeah. I will say this. There's an issue, especially for those working lower level temps. You get folks that are being paid more. I think in some states like $16 an hour not to work. That is a big, big issue. I'm not a fan of that. Because you're incentivizing people not to produce anything. However, I will say this, even in the higher levels, I've got clients who, say in the SaaS industry, for example, sales engineers and developers. these folks they are getting called incessantly, or they have so many opportunities available. And I think that's usually a product of one, poor candidate control, but also just a factor of there's so many opportunities out there right now, and it is the market is heating up. I think that's a big factor as well.
Yeah, totally, totally. So, David, that's the economy, and there's great stuff there. This one I found really interesting. I was going to bring it up before when you guys were talking, but I found this article amazing. ZipRecruiter, yeah, recruiters hate it. Blah blah blah. Their second quarter revenue. All right, so what? I mean, you're not going to guess. Their second quarter revenue that they're expecting in their projections right now are for the expectations. They're expecting a rise in revenue of between 79 and 86%. How nuts is that? ZipRecruiter.
I'll tell you what, when ZipRecruiter first came out, I didn't think much of them. And I tried it and I didn't get much out of it. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of job boards anyway. But I will say this. That was a few years. That was actually a number of years back. And I've heard some people talking really good things about ZipRecruiter lately. I've not tried them. I'm not endorsing them. I tried like years and years ago, but not anything lately. But I've been hearing a lot of good things about them. So I don't know, man. I think job boards. I think with the market the way it is now, the fact that so many jobs are being created and we just can't fill them, I think job boards are going to definitely see a boom. But I got to tell you, man, as a recruiter, if you depend on job boards, oh man, you're in for a world of hurt. I think because think about it, like you put something on a job board, somebody applies, and you submit that to a client, you got 5, 6, 7, 8 other companies competing for that same person. And if you're not going out there and reaching out to people who aren't on the market and getting them on board, you basically have no value add to your client, right? So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah. So, when I first started, and I mentioned this on one show or one of my shows, the founder of it came to me to help market it. And he, saw me all over the internet, do a lot of marketing, and he offered me, hey, can you tell people about this? Can you sell it to your audience? And I got a 10% or 20% referral fee on the subscriptions. And I spoke directly with him. We did a webinar together. I wish I could find it. And, sure enough, as he was growing and growing, they stopped the affiliate program. And that was the last I really spoke to him. Dan Bush had the insight to say, I'll do it. Let's partner on this and give me a tiny stake for this and that. I mean, this guy was just an entrepreneur in his basement. And I was there during the beginning of it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like saying, hey, yeah, I was the guy that sold the, I gave a customer list to Steve Jobs and I sold him the transistors and stuff. I love it. It's a fun story. I don't feel like I missed out on anything because I wasn't given it. It's not like he came to me to say invest with me, but pretty cool story, don't you think?
That's kind of a cool story. Yeah, actually reminds me. So my first search firm that ended up crashing in that last recession, but it was called Uber, not the car company or the taxi company, whatever, the rideshare thing, but it was Uber because we were in the SAP space and SAP's German software, so we thought it'd be funny playing on names. Our website at the time was Uber SAP, and so but during that time, right around 2007, I think 07, I had the opportunity to buy Uber.com for about 10 grand, then I passed because I was like, it's not really worth that. I've got better things to spend the money on. I really wish I would have bought that website. How awesome would that have been? But yeah, I had the opportunity to buy Uber.com for about 10 grand and I passed on the deal.
There's, I don't want to talk about all those stories. I talked about, sold to Amazon on a grade 4, whatever. We all have those stories.
Yeah, we do. Well, so I will say this: one of my recruiters, he told me that he had about 250 Bitcoin years and years ago, and he sold it to buy an Xbox. That's the Xbox anybody's ever purchased. Can you believe that?
Wow, you don't have anything to show from it. I mean, I am the guy. I don't know how I have these powers. Like, I don't believe when people like they have all their, I jinxed it. Like, come on, Giants, you're gonna make this. Game's over, and then they miss a kick, and the person next to them says, "Why you shouldn't have said that." I'm like, if I have the power as one person to affect the entire outcome of a game and millions of people watching it, then I should be using this power in different ways, right? Like people don't have that power to do that stuff. David, are you there?
Yeah, it exists.
Lost the
The whole thing
video.
about luck. The whole thing about I lost my video. I'm getting it back. Yeah, the whole thing about luck and all that kind of jazz and good luck charms. It's all fake.
Well, it's
But people,
ridiculous. But I do feel like I do control the stock market. I'm certain of that, and I don't know how I was given the gift. It's something, people have ESP, people have other gifts. I alone control the market. When I had to sell gold because I had to use it for something else, gold was been doing its own thing. Like gold rarely moves, boom. That's the next day when gold goes through the roof. If I decide I need to sell a certain mutual fund and it's been here and I got to liquidate it, like I sold all my crap. I liquidated everything expecting the Great Recession from COVID. The next day is when the market went up like friggin' that record breaking ridiculous, like the next friggin' day. That I caused that. So everyone that has their 401ks and stuff, I'm the one to thank. I'm just saying. It is me. Like every time. If I make a trade today on a mutual fund, it will drop significantly before they settle it. Promise.
Well, and that's one of the things about if you
on the settlement, then it will go back up. Let me just make it clear. I'll get the less payment, and then I would have sold it way low.
Well, now I will say this: that's kind of a feature of evolution, So we've evolved over time to recognize patterns, but unfortunately, like our brains can't just shut that off, and so we see patterns, and we do something in the morning, and then that same morning we get the Cubs win or whatever. They go, oh man, I missed this good luck charm, or we see these patterns that don't exist because it's just we evolve, because back in the day, we see the grass rustling out there. I'm like, I think that might be a tiger. So go the other way.
But
right?
you know what? Not to get terribly subliminal, but if you believe you're affecting the outcome of a sporting event or something, that's ridiculous. Good luck charms are proven to work for a lot of people because you have the Pygmalion effect, if you will. So if you have something that you believe makes you luckier or more successful, or you do better calls, it has the psychological impact. So the rituals are actually can work great for recruiters. If you believe in it and you exude more confidence because of that, you close more deals. So it's not really because you were wearing that thing, but it's because you believe that wearing that gave you a special edge. And I don't want to go into a friggin' weird thing that happened to me a long time ago, but I sort of felt it was as close as I could get to going through any sort of delusion, but I just felt everything's going right. Everything is happening now. Like everything was just ridiculous coincidences happening. I just felt nothing could, like everything that's happening right. And I went into that. Everything does happen for a reason. Like there's too many coincidences that just happened in the last 2 weeks. Like this can't possibly be right. And then something bad happened to me. Something bad happened at work with the global board. And I went into it saying, I got this. This is all going to work. And it did, but not because of any spiritual thing. Because I was so confident with it that it clearly affected how I went into that meeting,
Yeah, I hear you. But I mean, at the same time, I guess for me, that does make sense. Having said that, though, I guess for me, it's looking at, look, I mean, you can get heads 10 times in a row. Right. But it doesn't mean you'll get heads 11 times in a row. I think sometimes.
No, of course not. No, I'm with you on all that nonsense. There's something to, if you have a good luck charm, that piece of plastic or leather or whatever it is, it doesn't do anything. But if you really believe it and you believe you're awesome and you believe you're really good at what you do, you believe you're going to close this deal, you believe today I'm going to get this client I've been going after, today I'm getting that candidate, today I'm closing this deal, confidence and how you approach it. The opposite is if you have that, that self-fulfilling prophecy where, oh, nothing's going right here. I can't make a dime if I do it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's going to be your end result, and not because there's any magic behind it. There's so many things that are proven that, you're going to come across as unsure. You're going to come across as lying, and that's going to hurt the deal.
I think a lot of times too, it's a placebo effect, right? I think if I know I'm taking a sugar pill, then the placebo effect doesn't work anymore. It's that belief. I think a lot of times, I think a lot of folks, do have that belief in there. I think for me, unfortunately, I tend to discount those things. So I don't tend to have that belief.
But
Uh,
David, the
but
placebo
at the
effect's a
same
great
time, I know if I have a lot of
example.
bad luck. But at the same time, I know if I have a lot of bad luck, that's not necessarily going to extend into today, right? And so, I try to stay away from looking at those patterns, and I learned that a lot from Vegas. I spent lots of times in Vegas. I do a lot of gambling, or used to, and I see people lose so much money because they think they're on a streak,
Oh
right?
my
Oh
God,
man, it is one of the
that's
worst
crazy,
things to
especially when
see.
it's all mathematical. But in
Yeah,
any event, that's our show. We got to cut early today.
that
I
is our show.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to add other than good luck with the venture. I think it's great. I think people should take advantage of it. Um, Everyone knows how to reach me. Download my ebook, David. You got that thing. Great for staffing if you want to get into it. It's backofficestaffingsolutions.com/staffing. An amazing book. People love it. You don't have to pay for it. Really, really, really good stuff. So,
And
yeah, that's it.
yeah, for me, I don't want to have a plug.
You had to plug the whole
Other than
show.
yeah,
How
the
can
whole
you
show.
can't add a
The one thing
plug
I do
to
want
a
to
book?
say, that's very rich. But the one thing I do want to say on a serious note, so for the folks here in the U.S., Monday is a holiday. It's not Veterans Day. It's Memorial Day, and I do want to say this as a veteran myself. A lot of people don't realize what that day really means,
Yeah,
and so
totally.
we'll get a lot of folks. People will say thank you for your service, and that's great on, let's say, Veterans Day. What I would say is that's not a day where you necessarily want to say that, because this is the day where we honor our fallen. And so you have a lot of veterans who, you know, may not be happy that day. They may
What do you
be in a
say to
very
them? Because
bad
I've always
place.
wondered that. Do you
You,
say,
you just be there.
hey, hey, thank you for your service. I'm sorry for any loss.
Yeah,
You know,
you can still say thank you for your service, but what I mean is if you have a veteran in your life who, has been through some shit, today might be the day, or Monday might be the day where you call them, be there, put an arm around them, because it's tough. So that's what the day is for. It's not to celebrate veterans; it's to remember the fallen. So
yep,
keep in mind
totally.
of
It's
the day.
it's not a it's not a beach day. It is. It's the beginning of summer, the unofficial beginning of summer. But that's a great point, David. And thank you. No joke, but thank you for your service. And I'm sure you know people that are suffering. And sorry about that, my man. You've got
Okay.
a lot of people who love you.
All right, buddy. Well, that said, thank you everybody for your time. Appreciate it. And with that being said, we are out. We will see you next week. Peace.